I've been doing a single lift and follow it back down with the rod tip, single lift, and I'm picking it up about 3 feet each time. But Dan, I know you do a lot of this. You and I have done a lot of this together. How often do you mix it up? Sometimes you're keeping it real tight to the bottom, sometimes you're doing a bigger lift. What's your MO on that?
Generally what I like to do is I just like to flip my wrist. So I'm only popping it maybe a foot or so.
Okay.
And it's just a little wrist pop. Generally that works pretty well, and then I follow it back down. There's times when if they're not going and you think you really need to trigger them, you can rip it way up.
Way up high.
Way up high.
And get a big fall with it.
Then they have a big fall, so it's like falling a long ways down. But I get really tired doing that after a while.
And the other thing I noticed, the farther I pick the bait up when I do that, the more fish I miss. I get bites,
it's true,
but I miss more of them because there's more slack between me and the fish. So I'd rather keep my spoon or my blade bait, either one, tighter to the bottom. I feel like I miss less fish when I do that, but they won't always bite it. So you've got to sometimes do a more aggressive hop to do it. There are also times where I'll do a 2-stage lift where I'll snap it part of the way and then re-snap it again, and basically jerk and lift it up and let it go back down that way as well, more similar to what I would do with a jig. But day in and day out, I'm with Dano, just a short 1 to 3 foot hop, not much more than that ever. Is my most consistent. I'm just going to do something like this, and I'm not dropping the rod tip a lot faster than the spoon will fall back down, because if you do that, you have too much slack and you'll either foul your spoon or you'll again miss bites. So the one negative about this kind of fishing is you're not going to get an opportunity to check and see if there's a fish like you do with a piece of gulp or a power bait or Maxon or something like that. In this scenario, when they grab it, they're going to spit that thing out in a hurry. So you need to be Johnny on the spot when it comes to getting a hook set for sure.
I always use braid, and part of the reason is that you got 10% stretch in mono.
Right.
And if you're in 60 feet of water, that's 6 feet of stretch before you're even moving that bait. So the braid helps a ton.
Not to mention if you don't a lot of times have a real clean hook set, because it happens, you jerk the spoon up off the bottom, fish bites it at the top. The last one I got bit it right at the top of the hop. Well, you don't have a lot of time to get tight, and the instantaneous hook set from the braid will help you out a whole bunch with that as well. What's your theory? Gotta have a swivel, don't gotta have a swivel?
I think a swivel is really important because these things don't fall straight. Your line's going to get all twisted up. A lot of times when instead of tying it like a back-to-back uni knot, I'll tie a swivel at my braid, and then I tie the leader underneath that and then a snap underneath that, or I'll tie direct if it's got a split ring on it.
Got a split ring, right. Another part of this system that I think is really important to keep in mind, guys, is a extremely fast rod. I do not want a soft or a moderate rod to do this with. The faster the rod is, the more hook sets you're going to get, the cleaner your hook sets are going to be, the less you're going to wear yourself out lifting the spoon, because every time I go to lift this spoon, that rod's going to deflect, and I need that rod to not deflect any more than it has to, or I will again have no chance of getting my hook set on fish.
And if you've got a soft rod, the other thing you'll notice is that the braid will wrap up around the tip.
Yep.
On a soft rod, where if you have a stiff rod, it won't do that.
Yeah, exactly. There's one, got him.
Good.
All right, there we go, guys. So, another example of why you never leave fish to find fish. We left biting smallmouth to go find other biting smallmouth, and what we really should have done is stay on top of the biting smallmouth, guys, and Dano, nicely done with that. Thank you, sir. As you can see, it's gotten chilly out here, guys. I mean, it is cold. Nice. It is for sure fall fishing, and that is a good looking thick smallmouth. And I just pulled him up out of, how deep we got here? Almost 60 feet of water, guys. So that gives you an idea of how deep and that you can get with the spoons. And Dan, these spoons are only ½ ounce, or my spoon's only a half. No, this is 3.
Yeah, I'm using a 3/4. Yours is a half.
Mine's a half. So I've got a ½ ounce spoon fishing 60 feet of water. I've got it on light braid, and my hands are frozen, guys. It's a lot colder out here than it looks. And we'll get him unhooked real quick. But when you're fishing that deep, guys, a lot of stuff has to come together for it, and we made that one happen. So we'll get him put back right here. Watch, he'll take off straight to the bottom, see? When people talk about bringing fish out of deep water, it can be hard on fish, and it can be, but not if you don't horse them to the top. If you just keep a little bit of load in the rod and let the fish come up, they'll show you how fast they can come to the surface. If he swims up, he's fine. If he's trying to stay down there and you horse him, different story altogether.